Jeff's in.
Hi, Ann. Ian K.
Hello, my mic is back on now.
Yay.
When you want to start, Kaylin?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I just hit record, so let's go ahead and get rolling. Thank you guys for coming to this class. I've asked Jason to help me out and just kind of showcase how to get, different stats and matrix and how he utilizes those stats and matrix when it comes to maybe a listing conversation or pulling comps or just anything of that nature. So I'm really excited for him to walk us through, and I'm going to actually let Jason take it away on his screen. And if you guys have any questions, just raise your hand, shout out, or use the chat box, and we will definitely get you going.
Sweet. So thanks, Kaylin. I want this to be for you guys, and I want it to be beneficial for you. So if we can go in any direction you guys want. If there's specific things that you want to know how to pull or how to understand, please ask. Kaylin thought it'd be good maybe if we start with, how do you pull a CRM? And we won't spend a lot of time because you can spend a ton of time walking through a CRM, but just maybe real quick on a property that is one of those that's hard to comp out, and so you start tight and get loose, or do you get loose and start tight? And then after we go through that real quick, we can walk through market reports. We can walk through statistics. Hey, I want to know what lakefront homes in Osage Beach, what the average price per square foot was, and how does that compare to last year? And again, if there's specific things that you guys want to cover, you just ask. So sound good?
Sounds great.
Before we even get started, is there something that you guys have in mind that, and I'll write it down, that we want to cover for sure? Any certain statistic for sure? All right. I'll take that as a no. Okay, so as you guys know, we live at Lake of the Ozarks, which is awesome. And it is a really unique place to sell real estate because not everything, you go in the cities, everything's in a subdivision. We're within a couple price per square feet of each other. And here there's just so many things. And so I just randomly pulled up one of our listings. This is 372 Hart Lane Point. Looks like it's got about 2,500 square feet. And we've got it listed at 645. And so we're not going to go in through the whole process, but here's my thought process on when you're pulling comps for these unique homes. And you can see that this is a pretty unique home. It's built in the 70s. It was updated in 19. It's not a new build, but it's nice. There's no real we'll walk through it. So first and foremost is, if we're in a condo, it's pretty easy, right? You just go to that condo complex, you pull other comps. If there's not very many, at this point, we're looking more at solds, but you're also looking at actives, you're looking at expireds. For a home like this, because it's got some unique features. It's not very big, right? It's only 2,500 square feet, but it has 5 bedrooms and 3.5 baths, which is quite a few bedrooms for that size of home, but it has 4 garages. And it's hard to do this, obviously, without being at the house, but you can kind of see it. It's a nice home. Location's okay. It's in Campton, but the inside's been totally updated, right? It's stinking nice. It's got a pretty gentle lot. It's got a nice dock. I'm just giving you a general overview so you got a feel for what it looks like. The dock isn't overly nice. It's an older dock. Probably not a ton of value, although docks at this point, if you have to get a new dock, have gone way up. But it's an older house that's been remodeled. And it says it has 4 garages. But the reality is it's not really 4 garages, right? It doesn't even have any attached garages. But it has an extra parcel here. That's where the extra garages are. And it's one big kind of almost more like a 2-car garage where you can park 4 cars in it. So does that give you guys an idea of, so it's just kind of a really unique, weird property. And so the way that I would do it, and a lot of people will use the CRM, and that CRM that it produces is a pretty CRM. And if that's what you use, that's great. I don't like to use that. And I actually tell the clients that, hey, if you're competing, you may get somebody who's going to show you this really pretty CRM. And I kind of use it against them. They just put the subject property in there and it spits off this thing that looks all pretty, but they haven't really done much research. And I tell them that, what I do is what's so unique here is I want your property is so unique. There's no way that a computer can kind of spit out a pretty CRM for you. We've got to really do some digging. And because it's a unique property, I still like to start quick or start tight. What I mean by that is I start with, is there things? So I would look at, okay, this is in Lynn Creek. That's the true address. So I would pull up probably area F. Maybe I would do just Lynn Creek. I would pull up 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, or 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths. And you guys all know how to do that. The way that I do it, instead of doing it, you guys know how to do your quick searches. I'm starting with solds. I'm probably at this point only going back 180 days. The more unique the property, the further back you have to go. If you've got a really big property, that say it's a $3 million home, there may not have been any in a normal market. There may not have been any solds the last 180 days. So you go back 365 days. But I'll start tight. So I'll start with F and I'll go to lakefront. I'll put in my bedrooms, 5 bedrooms. I'll put in probably 3+ is what I'm going with. My approximate, I'm going to put in, 2,200 square feet to 2,500. So I'll probably go to 2,800. Be about 300 feet on either side. I want garages. I want single family, obviously. And you can already see there's only 3 that have sold that are over 2,200 square feet. So again, that's a pretty specific. So we're looking at solds. It's a pretty specific deal. This one's 3,500 square feet, so it's considerably bigger. It has 3 garage spaces. It's an older home, but it has been remodeled. So this is actually a pretty dang good comp right here, is the way that I would look at it. It's got 5 bedrooms. It has more bathrooms. It's got 2 extra full baths. And so the way that I like to do it is you look at these comps. I would print this out on a piece of paper, and then I'm going to adjust. It's not been updated. And there's no exact the way that I feel about it is there's no exact science. There's no, it's 1,000 square feet, bigger. It's got 2 extra bathrooms. It's not like I'm like, well, it's $15,000 extra for that bathroom. But I'm going to pull this one. I'm not going to kind of do my calculations until I've got 4 or 5 good that I feel like are 4 or 5 decent comps, or at least 4 or 5 homes that I can kind of compare to. Does that make sense? So I would print this one off. I would look at it.
Jason, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you paying attention when you're going through this process right now? Are you paying attention to water depth and the dock too?
Yeah, always. I mean, you're always looking at that. If there's, the higher price the home and the shallower the water, the more of value it's going to affect. You get a $300,000 home on the water that has shallow water, it's not going to affect the value as much. Obviously, this has got a great view. You're looking at the topography. You're looking at the dock. There's all those things. And again, I don't want to turn this into a CRM class. I'm just kind of running you through the way that I do a CRM using Matrix as opposed to just using the CRM button that it produces. looking at these others have the same bedrooms, but you're starting to get 4,400, 4,100. That's not a great, that's pretty obscure. I probably wouldn't pull any of those. I'd probably just use this. I'd probably go back, maybe I'd go back to 360 days, so there's 7. I might pull that up. I would look at these. There's still, so here's a good one on Fontana. It's a 5-bedroom, very good comp. So it's a 5-bedroom. It's got 1 extra full bath, sold for $690. The only thing wrong with it is it's 2019. And so obviously you're gonna get premier. The thing about Fontana is, if you know, it's really tight cove, not much water depth, but obviously it's a brand new home. So I'm pulling that up. So I'm looking at these two. I've got Fontana. I'd probably pull that off. I'd probably pull I'd look at Crystal Springs. So that's the one we already looked at. So now I've got 2 comps. And then I'm going to start spreading. I may go to Camathan. I'll go to Osage Beach. We've already done our total square footage bigger. Maybe I'd go lower. But the key is with these really unique properties, you're not going to be able to find exact comps. And you guys know this already, but as far as using it for, as far as matrix, there's no real tricks in this. It's not like statistics that are a little bit harder. You guys do this more often than I do, so you probably teach me. But I like to start narrow and get really broad and try to get 4 or 5 comps that I can take. What I will usually do is I'll circle the differences, and I'll highlight the differences, whether it's a plus or a minus. If the subject property's got a great flat yard, I'll make sure that I'm making notes on that. It's not as professional looking, but they can tell that I've spent some real time on it. And just, I think too many agents, they don't spend enough time on preparing for that listing. And the way that I used to, not that I take too many listings anymore, but I'm very much like Jeff. I like a 2-part. I like to come in prepared, and I like it to be a two-part process. In today's world, you got to be careful of that, just because you want to make sure that you don't leave there without the listing. So any specific questions on that? I know we didn't come here for CRM, but Kaylin wanted to touch on that. Anything? All right. Well, let's get into the statistics. So I don't know how familiar you guys are with statistics at all, but market reports is a great place to start.
Hey, Jason, we just had a question from Anne. She said, would it help to find closer comps if you used 4 bedrooms for that particular example?
Yeah, that's what I mean by spreading out, casting a wider net. Say you don't have 5 bedrooms. Say you want to get closer with your square footage. I would for sure do that. I would go down with 4 bedrooms. I'd probably go down to 3 bathrooms, maybe even 2. And then you just, as you look at all your comps, you're kind of you're trying to put a value to the things that are less important or less valuable, and adding value to those that are more valuable. Maybe you find one without a garage. This one obviously had an extra parcel. What is that extra parcel really worth? We had garages on there, so maybe I would probably do a comp without any garages, just to see, and then you can add value. It's not like that was a unbelievable garage. That garage isn't probably adding $100,000 in value, but it's probably adding 60 or 70,000 in value. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
And that's what I mean by casting a wider net. You're just going to get broader and broader until you can really get the comps that you want. And I hate to say this, but a lot of times our real estate, our pricing, as you guys know, is a little bit of a feeling. I hate to say that, but on those weird properties, there's a feel for it. There's a, it's almost impossible to, does it have short ceilings? Does it have a good driveway? And so without being there and without feeling the property, it's hard to put a price tag on some of those things. But my point is, do your homework. Don't just all of a sudden, I've got 2 or 3 good comps. That's where it needs to be. Make sure that you're turning over every rock, looking at every little thing, and highlight all the differences. And that'll help you get an understanding of why something may have sold. Maybe you overlook it if you're not doing that. Was there another question?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. All right. So market reports. This is where we pull kind of all of the kind of general stuff. You can go here and so here's your start date, here's your end dates. You can change these to anything. We use these all the time if you want to compare. Say you wanted to compare, say you wanted to see just real quick, maybe where you stack up in residential single family, and maybe you're going on a listing appointment in Camden. So I would click that. Maybe you're wanting to show it as the office. So you go to the office. We give you these quarterly reports, but say you're wanting one that's a little more up to date, or you're wanting a specific month. So you click on that, single family, Camden residential. It generates the report. And you can see, you can tell them, well, we've got 26% market share. The next closest is half of what we've done as a company is for single family homes. Maybe you want it to be broader. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't want it. Maybe you just want it total. The great things about numbers is you can play around with it and make it look as, there's ways to make it look sometimes better, if that makes sense for you. Maybe it's condos you're getting ready to do a listing in. It allows you to do comparisons company-wide. If you want to do it as your own agent, as yourself, you can just click on that and create the same report. You can also sort it. Say you have maybe you've got a bunch of transactions. Maybe your average price isn't that high, so you want to do transactions instead. So it'll sort it by transactions as opposed to volume. But maybe you're in a property. So maybe you're in a property that you've sold one big home, and you want it to look like you dominate the market. You sold a $1 million home, but you've only sold a couple. Then I'd probably use the volume, or I would probably sort by total volume. Does that make sense? And you can make it top 25. You can make it 250. You can create just one board or the other. I usually do both, and I'll bring that up because sometimes you're competing against companies. Nancy Rogers is really good at this. She'll click on Lake of the Ozarks Board of Realtors and show her thing, and she used to be up there pretty high. I don't know if she still is, but it'd look like she was number one, but she's number one because it's just Lake of the Ozarks board. She's not showing her Bagnell Dam. So I would print them both off and show how people compete. Again, these are just kind of your general reports on your market reports. The way that I like to do statistics for specific things, say you want to know what's our average price of the whole market, right? So, or maybe not the whole market. Maybe you're wanting to know what are the average prices of residential homes over the last year to date. So I go to sold. You click on this, you go back. You guys all know how to do this, right? I go to today, click on OK, single family. Maybe I want to know what lakefront homes are. So I click on lakefront homes. These are single family sold. And again, you're just kind of getting general market knowledge. So there's been 748 homes, lakefront homes that have sold year to date. You click on results. And so this is just obviously the agent single line. It doesn't tell you a whole lot more other than, if you want to sort by price, I like to do that. Put the most expensive first and go down. But where the real value is see the statistics right here? You click on the statistics tab, and then there's a chart or tabular. The charts I don't ever use. I use the tabular. And so you go to tabular, and then this tells you lots of different stuff. So this LP is the list price. So this tells you that the average list price of all the lakefront homes this year have been 581,223. The average square feet is 2546. The average square foot is 223, and then it gets into your sell price. So your SP is sell price. So that shows average list 581, average sale price 573. So you can, if this is your elevator speech, this is the stuff that helps you sound educated. If somebody asks you, well, how much have lakefront homes gone up this year? I've heard they've doubled. You can quickly understand that, okay, so this year to date is the average sale price is 573,000. We've got an average list to sale price of 99.4%, and the average days on market is 59. So I'll typically write those things down. And then what I'll do is I'll go back if I want to compare it to last year. Don't keep hitting back. You hit criteria once you get to this. And then you can come up here and I'll hit clear and I'll go to, I'll just do a comp from the exact same thing last year. What's the date today? September what? Where did we go? 29th?
30th.
No, 30th. 30th?
Yeah.
It's October 1st.
Nope, tomorrow.
Okay. So you can see last year, there was actually, what did we say? There was 774 lakefront homes. Is that what it was?
Something like that.
So last year, there was actually 885. Go back here to stats, go to tabular, and then you can see the average list price last year was only 436, and the average sale price was 421. The average list to sale price was, that's amazing that it was so much further off. So the average sale price was 421. So you can tell. So then the way that you figure that, what percentage that is, so then you pull out your calculator. So the average sale price last year was, or this year is 573,000. Last year, the average sale price was 421 or 422 almost. So the way that you figure that average, and not to, I know some of you guys are math whizzes, but if you don't know, you just take 573,000 if you want to be exact, but you can just take 573,000 and then you subtract 421,000, which is 152,000. So you got 152,000, and then you divide that number by whichever way. So if you're comparing last year to this year, you would divide 152 by 421. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
152 divided by 421. So 36%. That's a 36% increase. So if somebody says, they doubled in last year, you can say, well, that's not actually true. The reality is that lakefront homes have increased by 36% on average price. Days on market, you can do the same exact thing. Last year it says it was 103. Last year it was 59. You do it the exact same way, 103 minus 59, then you divide it by the year that you're coming from. Any questions on that? No questions?
Nope.
And you can literally say you want to say what's nice about this as opposed to, you can do some of that with market reports, but what's nice about this is you can get real specific. You can do subdivisions, you can do cities, if you're wanting to do all of them for Osage Beach, you can do those same comps. It's really interesting, or it is for me because I'm kind of a weirdo, but I like to be able to know which markets are the strongest, what are the outliers that are causing things to jump way up. And most of the time we talk in averages, but just so you know, like median, we've just never used it. Median is probably a more realistic number. When you look at a lot of NARS stats, it's the median, because the median takes out the outliers, but we've always used average. What other statistics do we do? I mean, again, you can do this for commercial. You can do it. You do it the exact same way. Mm-hmm. It is not rocket science. It just takes some time. What other reports do we do, or what other stats do we typically talk about?
Inventory? Question mark.
Inventory. Okay, yeah. So,
Jason,
if you want to do active inventory, I just go to.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
Real quick before you jump into inventory, I just want to read what Jeff put in chat just in case everybody didn't see it, because I think it's important. But when you were talking about the last example, Jeff put in, not only do these stats allow you to validate what you are saying to the client, it elevates your professionalism. Most agents will just tell their prospects they won't bring the stats to show them. It's a great way to differentiate. And I think that's so true. I mean, this class really can help you, and numbers can really help you differentiate yourself when you're in front of clients. So it's really important.
Absolutely. You're setting yourself apart as a professional as opposed to somebody who says, well, yeah, the market's really good. Well, yeah, the market's up 36% in lakefront homes. Who sounds more professional? Who understands the market better? Where was I going to go with that? What was the other question you said? Oh, inventory. So inventory, if you're wanting specific inventory, like if you want the whole market, you can do cross property. If you're wanting to get specific, how many single family homes are there? Well, there's 440 that are active. If you're wanting to do condos and villas, there's 162. And a lot of times what I'll do too is, especially on condos, if I'm looking at condo comps, there's 145, but what I'll do is, so I know there's 145 active, but you can throw out, sometimes I'll click the year that they're built. And so that shows there's only 47 that were not, if you take off, what was it? So it went from 145 to 47 if they weren't built in the last 2 years. And then I'll go in here and I'll look and I'll be like, oh yeah, look, none of these are even built yet. So I'll look at these and I'll be like, nope, that one's not built. So you look through here, none of these are built yet. So you look at those and you're like, holy cow. So of those, there's 47. So really there's only 98 condos on the market that are built. Does that make sense? That's how we come to that. That's how we figure that. Does that make sense? If you're wanting to know inventory of like how many homes have actually been listed, not just, so like if you're comparing, a lot of people say, well, we have no inventory, we don't have any homes to sell, right? So don't pick any of these, don't click on anything like that, don't hit active, and we want to see how many actual single family homes have come on the market this year, or how many how many lakefront single-family homes? Again, you can get as specific or as wide as you want. But, oh my gosh, there's not been anything to sell. So then you'll go down to here, and I'll go to list date. And some of these things are additional fields. Like these are my additional fields that I've added that I use. And if you haven't ever used that, you just click on that. It gives you all these things that you can add. And say you want to add, I don't know, you want to add the sold date on there. You know, you're looking for, something sold within the last, well, that's about, or maybe slip length. You could just add that. You'd add it. It'd come over here and it'd give you another field to click on. So these are the ones that I've added. So I will then, for inventory, I'll go down to list date. And if we want to see how many homes have listed this year, you just go January 1 to September 30th. We know that we've had 1,014 lakefront homes listed. So what does that mean as it compares to last year? If you want to just compare it to last year, you can go down here and just change the date, change that last 0. It's a little easier than, you can use the calendar as well. So 1143. What was it last year? Or what was it this year?
I didn't catch it.
Holy crap. Oh no, not exactly. 1014. So the reality is that they are down. They're down. So this year we've had 1,014 lakefront homes. Last year we had 1,143. So at this point we're down 129 lakefront homes. But really that's, you're looking at that, you're comparing it to the 1143. So you're less than 10% down on lakefront homes. If you want to do the whole, say you want to do it for everything, not just resident. Say you want to know condos. Let's see what condos look like. That was lakefront homes. Again, you just click that. You just click the list date. No. $1,067. That's how many condos have been listed this year. And if you want to compare it to last year, you just change that number. If you want to compare it to the last 3 years. But you can see condos are up. Condos were up quite a bit. We're at 965 last year. And this year,
1,067.
1,067. So we're up, we're up a little more in condos than we were down in single family. What else? Jeff, what else? What other things that you guys can think of? Sorry, I'm looking at my TV. What do you guys, what other
Ann said, can you go over how to figure that percentage again?
Sure. So on any statistic, let's just do office. On any statistic. So we've sold, looking at here, just to round up, Remax Lake of the Ozarks so far has sold $575 million. If you compare it to last year, same time frame, if you round up, $455 million, right? So this year, $575 million, last year, $455. So you take the 575 million, you subtract 455, which is 120 million, right? So you take that 120 million, or just take 120, and then you divide that by 455. And that tells you that we are up 26% from last year in volume. Does that make sense?
Jeff said, how about how companies' business is balanced, list side by side double dips?
List side by side double dips. All right.
And why is that important?
Why is that important? So list side by side double dips. Do we use market reports? Sometimes I have to play with it. List side, double side. Oh, it's all on here. Never mind. So I just pull it on the market stats. So you can go up here to market reports. It's that same thing. If you're looking at office, we're looking at total volume. So list side, sold side, total volume. So this shows that, hey, we've had 814 list sides. Buy sides, we represented 816, which gives us 1,630 total. That's super balanced. I mean, we've only had 2 more buyers than listings, which means we do a great job of having listings. We do a great job representing our buyers. You want a balanced, listings are the gold, right? Listings, you want to dominate listings, but at the end of the day, those listings should be generating buyers. So if you're only focused on buyers, I'm trying to think. So Berkshire uses a lot of, they do a lot of internet leads. And as you guys know, internet leads are often buyer heavy. They spend a lot on Zillow. And so you can see like Berkshire has 172 list side, but they have 216. That's quite a few more buy sides. It's actually a little better than it used to be. So they're starting to close the gap. Let's look at everybody's favorite person is Anna Marie right here, Columbia. You can see she only has 26 listings, but 79. And so if you were competing, my thought would be is when you're communicating that in a listing presentation or with your clients, you talk about, we don't just list homes, we actually sell homes. We're super balanced. If we get a listing, we sell it. We often double dip things. You can figure out how many double dips we had. Actually, I don't know how to run that report. That's off of Jeff. Isn't that done by that's done by the front office, right?
I was going to say, isn't that on the quick search in that very bottom list and then sell side?
I was struggling with this the other day because I think we used to be able to see it on Matrix on our reports. Do you remember that?
I think that's just something that we track with the front office. They produce those monthly reports for us. And so it's from the back end, I think, is the way that we track ours. But we do
now. We track it now on the back end, but we used to be able to see list sale combo on the Matrix reporting system, and I could not find it the other day. So that I don't know if it's moved.
Well, you can go like this. So you could go to list agent.
I thought it was
or list firm.
Yeah.
This is a little bit more cumbersome, but you can go to that. You type in here. Okay, holy cow! Look at all the dang Remaxes.
Oh wow!
So you find us. Where are we?
It's alphabetical, I think.
That's weird.
Yeah.
What in the world?
Try putting Lake.
That is weird. Why are we not showing up? There it is. That was weird though. So that's us. If you ever want to find yourself, you can put listing agent, or you want to find somebody else, you can put that in, but this is just our company. So that's list firm. We're going to find out how many we've sold. So we put in the dates. You can see that this is single family homes. Say you want to take that off, or see, let's just do single family homes. 349. Go to stats, tabular. No. It can, so this is how you can compare. This is how we use, you guys know those stats that we do that shows, why 7 versus 6. So we'll go in here and we'll compare ourselves to the next 5 highest companies. So we'll actually run this report for the next 5 companies, and we'll average those out. We'll look at average days on market. We'll look at average price. We'll look at our list to sale price, and then you can compare them with any of those others. But I don't think we can. What you were asking, Jeff, I don't.
Yeah, I like I said, I struggled with it.
I know that you can put in our company where you had it in list firm. You can also put it in sell firm at the same time. I don't know if that helps or if that's
yeah. So that's exactly how you do it. So this shows that we have 349 residential single family homes. If you wanted to do,
you can enter the number too.
Yeah. So 381. So again, if you want to look at exactly what we listed things for and sold them for, and these are what the way that we use these guys is, if we want to really know what our average list to sale price, we don't want to get our buy sides in there because we didn't have control over that, right? We only want our list sides to show exactly what our list to sell ratio was. Does that make sense?
Jason, Mark asked a question. He said, do you think it's a good idea to show the company versus company comparison stats to prospective sellers when you're competing for a listing?
Absolutely. How we compare to other companies?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what those quarterly reports are. I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't use those. Are you thinking just because it's got their name on it? Is that kind of the question? Like you're afraid that we're gonna hurt somebody's feelings or make somebody mad? Is that? I'm not being facetious. Or you're talking about should we use branded versus unbranding?
I'm waiting for him to answer.
Okay. But I mean, my off the cuff answer would be, yeah, use those as much as you can. You never know who you're competing against. So you want to, what I would like to do on those is bring everything I can, or everything that makes sense. And then as you get a feel for that person, you may not have to use all that. You may be boring somebody to death. But if you get an engineer and you get somebody who's a numbers person and they want to see those stats, and you're going to look like a professional.
Paint it in a light of what's in it for them.
Yeah.
Not
always.
We're the best or we're the biggest.
Always in that light. Sometimes
when we put out all those stats, there's so many of them that we dominate. Sometimes that accidentally gets translated into we're the best, and that is not, they don't respond to that. Right. But if we put that out in front of them being a client, and we say, hey, I wanted to share this with you, not to tout the number.
Hey, Jeff, keep talking for a second, okay?
Yeah, but more than that, to show you what this means to you. So we collectively have 100 agents. These agents are the most productive in the business. And that means to you that we're going to be able to expose your listing to more clients. We're going to have a bigger opportunity to work with one of those agents, which is going to make for a smoother deal and put more money in your pocket. So, that's why I bring them, just so you know that this is our bread and butter. You're in good hands. And we're proud of that. We want you to know that. something like that, rather than take a look at this. We're so good.
He said, just wondered how hard we want to hit the competition during the pitch.
Well, so every quarter we put out 2 groups of reports. One has their actual name on it. The other has company A, B, C, and D. So because that is a very realistic feeling and something that if you're not okay with it, then use the A, B, C, and D one and just say, look, we want you to know our production and we want you to know the other company's production, because we're really proud of I'm really proud of the associates that I work with and the business that they do. We haven't labeled the other companies on here because we're not trying to bash anybody, but we know we do want you to know you're in good hands. We produce more exposure. That type of pitch. So,
Greg,
yeah.
Jeff, when you go on your listing presentations, do you use the branded or unbranded?
How many listing presentations do I go on these days?
Well, I know, but if you do,
yeah, I use branded. If I have a chance, I do. But I'm real soft with it.
Yeah.
And I will say, these are good companies and they've got great agents. We're just especially proud of our production and what it means to each and every client that we are lucky enough to deal with, because it really does mean an easier transaction in a lot of cases, and it really does mean more money in your pocket in a lot of cases. So we're proud of it.
And in the stats folder too, they are labeled branded and unbranded if you're looking for those specifically.
If there's things that you guys want to cover that you forget to ask, or if you're still not sure of how to run something, give me a call and I'll walk you through it. It's
all the stuff that we put together for the symposium comes from these stats, and it's pretty. It's amazing to me how much power is in stats when it's when you use it to whatever you need it for, absorption rates and all kinds of inventory questions, and you can really separate yourself getting involved in the stats, and they're right there for us, but very rarely are they used.
Yeah. If you ever want to look at how many agents or how many offices there are, you just go under hit agent, go to active, type in DRs and realtors, and that'll tell you there's 1,072 that are part of the board. If you want to look at how many offices there are, you go to active. Again, you want to make sure that it's a real estate office, not miscellaneous, appraisal, or affiliate. You can see there's 201.
Is your goal, Jason? You want to get that to 300, or
yeah, that's what I'm trying to get it to. Don't get me started on my soapbox. Whenever we started tracking this,
sorry, my bad.
In 15, or it was actually, we weren't tracking it. We were tracking it way before then. But when I got here in 2015, this number was like, it was like
70?
The top 5 plus 53. So it was like 57 offices.
Yeah, there you go.
And now there's 201, and most of those are not. If anything, the local offices have gotten smaller, and we just got a lot more out of town.
Does anybody have any questions?
This stats bar up here has got some good stuff in here. I don't use it too much.
And why don't you use it too much?
I don't know. I'm just, they're harder to read. They're more by month. You have to kind of go through and figure them by hand if you want to. But I get there's probably some value on here if you wanted to, if you're wanting some specific months. Actually, kind of comparing to, last year, at the beginning of the year, we were blown, our stats were so big because we were comparing January, we had March and April of COVID, so things were kind of we didn't really start flying off the shelf until May. May, June, July. All of a sudden, it's going up. Whoops. And this is just list price per square foot ratio.
Actually, if you go to 19, wait, what was it? Wait a second. Last year is when that happened. Yeah. So that's weird to me that it jumped that fast. Look at 19, how April 132 went to 125 in May and June.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We do all of our comparisons year by date, obviously from the year before, and last year was an exceptional year, but 2019 was a pretty dang good year. And look how much the numbers have changed since 2019, 125 in May to 184 this year, 124 to 193. Our average price, our list price per square foot, our average price per square foot list price just continues to go up. And this is not lakefront homes. This is just list price. This is just all
Overall.
Wow.
It's all residential. It's not single family. It's not condos. Original. And again, the thing that I don't love about this is that it doesn't give you, or at least I can't figure it out, an actual year to date. It's by month, which again can be helpful, but if you're wanting a full thing, you'd have to go down and do it by hand. There's easier ways to do it.
Jason, did you go through on a regular report how to do the tabular and the chart at the end of the report?
Yeah.
Did you? Okay. I didn't catch it.
I think so.
Yeah.
So say you're just doing your date.
So this is pretty much any report you do, and you probably
Any report I want to do single family and condos and villas. I want non-lakefront. So these are all off-water condos and single family. I don't know why you would run that.
And then you could do a certain area.
Yeah, you could do a certain area. You could do a certain subdivision. You could do a city. You could do your area. Say I wanted to do Osage Beach. So I've got lakefront, single family, and villa. Area D for this year, there's been 131. You hit your results. And then you go to the statistics and you click that. And again, I don't know why that's up there. Click on that. And what we were doing before is we were doing tabular. I only use tabular. Tabular gives you this screen. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
If you click that and you go to stats and you go to charts, it just gets you. Whoa! I thought I gave you a chart.
It did. Why did it do that?
I don't know. Lakefront, single family, villa, townhome D. Hit results, stats, charts. Huh.
Oh, it says transaction type in red. Do you have to put purchase maybe or something? I don't. Why is that?
Oh, here you go. I don't know why that.
No, that wouldn't matter.
Again, I don't ever use the chart anyway.
Yeah.
I just use the tabular because it's tabular. The chart just is a pretty pie chart. Usually
It will give you a chart though on some of them.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't
understand why it won't, but
the tabular is what you want.
Yeah. Sorry, you did cover that.
Anything else?
Well, Jason, you did a great job. I really appreciate you walking this through. This really informative.
Well, it's, we're here for you guys. If you have more questions, just let us know. You guys don't feel like you have to run all these numbers. That's why we do all those reports. They're in paperless. But if you're wanting something specific, or if you're trying to figure something that's maybe you're trying to figure your own value proposition, that's a thing worth talking about. Like you're trying to figure your own value proposition. Maybe you want to see how you compare maybe you want to see how you compare in single family homes, how you compare. So you'd come down here and you'd put your own name in here and you'd say, so that's mine. So if this is just mine, I've sold, not me, last 180 days, single family. I'd go to stats and then I'd go to tabular. And I could see that my average list to sale price on residential over the last 180 days, I might use this in a listing presentation that shows I'm at 100. We're over list price, our average sell to list. And I might compare that, or I might look at days at market and compare that to the overall market. And I can show some value there by saying, the overall value or the overall market is actually 99.4. I'm charging you 1% more, but look, I'm going to make it up on our negotiating skills or our time on the market, our days on the market, or even our average price per square foot. If our average, I don't know that it is, but if our average price per square foot is higher. All those things are a way to communicate value and to show professionalism.
And if you don't have that, you can use the company too, right, Jason?
Absolutely. That's exactly what we use with the company, but you can do it up to date. We have that for the company. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Jeffrey? Anything else? Bruce? Oh, here we go. Alcohol.
Well, thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, reach out to us anytime. We appreciate it.